Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the UX Voyager where we think and talk about designs. Do you guys miss me? Of course you do. Anyways, thank you for all those who reached out to me in my absence. I am here now and glad tidings I bring, particularly on this voyage we will be cruising on today. You are skilled, but are you hireable? You are familiar with the term first class and no job, or how competent people do not get hired. I can also liken this to past elections that have happened over time in our country. Is it the best man that wins, or the one who knows what we don't? Don't cry about it. He's president. Are you? Let me tell you about my friend, Mofuruko Bolashiri, meaning name withheld. When I say this guy is good, I mean Odavi Wiri. He's an incredible designer. His interfaces, mad, beautiful, clean typography, thoughtful interactions, pixel perfect executions. I wonder the time he has spent mastering every tool out there from Figma, Framer, Rive, name it. But here's the thing, he has been job hunting for over 8 months. Yes, you got that right. 8 months. Meanwhile, another designer I recently mentored has landed 2 jobs back to back within 3 months. Of course, not as good as technically as my friend, but also a product designer. So if I place these two side by side, their technical skills, they are not mates. So how did the second guy do it and the first couldn't? Let us settle for the simple answer. Grace. Now Baba God do. But what about the reality that would make your Baba God or grace more effective? The story I just told you plays out all the time in our industry, and it indicates something crucial that nobody really talks about. Your technical skill and hireability are not the same thing. They are not even close. Let's have a honest discussion about this gap and how we can connect it in our respective career. So what do I mean by the term technical skill and hireability? Technical skill is that stuff you can put on a checklist. It is how good you are with your design tools or your work tools. It is knowing how to build design systems, ability to create wireframes, functional prototypes. It is understanding structure, layout principle, atibebe or typography, color theory. Those things you learn most times when you go to an academy or a boot camp. Now, what is hireability? Well, it is messier than you think. It is the whole impression that makes someone say, yes, I want this person on my team. Your technical skills are actually part of that impression. In fact, they made a larger part of that impression. But so is your communication style, your approach to solving problems, how you handle feedback, whether you can explain the rationale behind your design decisions to people who don't even speak design, and understanding how your work contributes to the business side of things. In simple terms, technical skill would always get you the interview, but hireability is what gets you the job. So what's going on in between this gap, like between technical skill and hireability? Let me break it down with some real life example. As a co-founder, sometimes last year, I sat on a hiring panel for a mid-level front-end position. We interviewed a candidate, let's call him Fatai. His portfolio was stunning, his coding skills were on point, but when we asked him to walk us through one of his processes for a particular project, things got awkward and stammering began. He couldn't clearly explain why he made certain decisions, and when our technical lead asked how his design would impact our conversion metrics, Orobadi, he didn't have an answer, and he was asked about implementation constraints and other questions. He was just getting nervous and almost even getting annoyed. Technically skilled, yes, I'll give it to him. Absolutely. But hireable for our team, unfortunately, we have moved on with other candidates. The interesting thing is that they don't use this stem again. They don't use unfortunately most times when they reject you now. They use thank you. Thank you for applying or showing interest. Then there's however. So there's no unfortunately anymore. Anyways, so recently, like as I was saying, recently we interviewed another set of individuals, and one of them stood out. Her portfolio was not all that, was not gege, but she had properly researched into our product and competitors, and she asked thoughtful questions about our businesses and challenges. She explained her work very well, and she could back every decision she has made in terms of the problem and business goals. When she was even faced with tough questions, because we had to put down fire like on the hot seat, she was candid about what she knew and what she didn't know, and the openness and willingness to learn. To short the long story cut, I don't know how you guys say that. She is a member of the team today, not because she was the best technically, but demonstrated broader qualities. And she has been committed diligently to her work. So I believe we hired the right person. There's a trap I see so many people fall in. I would call that trap the tech rabbit hole. I have mentored a lot of designers, and something in common when we have conversation around getting a job is usually what can I add to my learning to become more hireable or to become hireable. Should I learn motion design? Should I learn this tool, Webflow, Framer? And I asked them a simple question: why this skill specifically? Why do you want to add this tool? And the common answer was that because I see them in job postings. So here's the thing: chasing every technical skill you see in a job posting is like trying to fill a basket with water. There would always be another tool. There would always be another framework. There would always be another methodology or something new that you don't even know about. So how long do you want to keep learning before you now start trying to become hireable? So my approach would be that first, understand that most of these tools work similarly. So instead of adding more technical skills, focus on contextualizing the ones you've already learned. We worked a roadmap. We tried to build a portfolio and show, business impact of the work you're creating. Practice interview questions with a focus on process and collaboration. This will help more than learning new tools all the time. And the reason this approach works is because some of them have already secured entry-level jobs, and some of them have gotten like a lot of interviews. So this particular process work. Once you create a portfolio, you discuss about business impact of your work, practice for interviews, focus on process and collaboration. I think you're good to go. So if you're listening to this and thinking about your life choices, I would actually share some tips that I have helped, but note that I am just one out of millions of people. So there's no one way to the market. There are different strokes for different folks. But what have worked for me so far, first thing first, is to start by speaking the language of the business. I've been more of a fintech oriented person. So next time you're working on a project, you always ask yourself a question: what is the problem I'm solving? Are this problem imagined? Because some problems are just imagined problems. You don't need to solve them. Some are social problems. They are good or nice problems to hear about and discuss in the society, but it's not ours to solve as designers. So you also need to define what success looks like. Another thing is to stop trying to impress other designers. A lot of people do this. It irks me. They won't be the one to hire you. They won't be the one to hire you. So explain your process to non-designers or someone who is not in your field. You can look for a friend who is always mocking you. Try to explain what you're doing to them. If they understand your approach and why it matters, then you are doing something right. And next thing is that don't always work alone. You could be a self-taught designer, you could, work solely, but please and please try to seek collaborative projects. Volunteer or find opportunities to work with developer, product folks, marketers, anyone outside your design bubble. This is a good mind because organizations are not looking to fill up a role, but actually hire a team member. So if they see all you do is solo, then they believe you would not fit in. Another thing similar to my second point is that you should be very good with your presentation. Your presentation matters. Your portfolio should not just be fine, Kolanje. It should be comprehensive and tell a good story about the problem you solved, how you solved them, and why it matters. Context matters just as much as crafting it does. Finally, this is the part I don't like. But we do not have a choice. Strategic positioning and online presence. Cloud, cloud. But if you'll be doing this, make sure your posts are connecting design decisions to larger business goals. This will separate you from the real cloud chasers. But anyways, they are always winning. Then, after I have done all of this, add grace. Another disclaimer is that I'm not saying technical skills don't matter. They absolutely do, but you need a baseline of technical competence to first be effective as a designer. Then you can now level up to hireability. What I'm saying is that technical skills are not enough. Just technical skills alone, they are not enough. The most hireable designers I've seen are not necessarily the most technically proficient that you can find. And most times you find them online. They are the ones who can apply technical skills to solve problems. They are the ones who can communicate effectively across cross-functional team or disciplines. They are the ones who understand that design does not happen in a vacuum. I'm excluding the cloud chasers now. We have arrived at the shore, and that's all for today's voyage. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment wherever you're listening or reach out on social media. I'm always up for continuing such conversations. And if you know anyone who might benefit from this episode, maybe they are deep in tech rabbit hole too, share it with them. Sometimes we all need that gentle reminder that there's more to being hireable than being technically skilled. Until next time, I am your host, Mubarak Babajide. See you on the next one. Thank you.